Good morning to all. In this video, we discuss about lathe machine. We discuss the topics introduction, lathe, principle of working, parts of a lathe, lathe specification. First we take introduction. Several metal cutting operations are carried out to produce a mechanical part of required shape and size. The metal cutting operations may be carried out either manually by using hand tools such as chisels, files, etc., or using metal cutting machines. When machine performs the metal cutting operations by the cutting tools mounted on them, they are called machine tools. A machine tools may be defined as a power-driven machine which accomplishes the cutting or machining operations on it. The fundamental machine tools that are used for most of the machining process are lathe, drilling, tapping, planing, milling, and grinding machines. Machining means to remove the excess material from the workpiece and give it to the required shape and size. Next part is lathe. A lathe is a machine tool employed generally to produce circular object or cylindrical object. It is said to be the mother of all the machine tools. Almost all the machining operations which are performed on the other machines tools like drilling, grinding, shaping, milling, etc. can be performed on it. Hence it is called the mother of all the machine tools. Various type of lathes are being used in practice to perform variety of machining operations. Depending on their characteristics functions, the lathes are classified as first one engine lathe, second speed lathe, third turret lathe, fourth one capstan lathe, fifth one automatic lathe, sixth one computer numerical control CNC lathe. Next part is principle of working. First we take this figure. This part is the work coding device called chuck. This is the workpiece. Next, this one is the V-shaped cutting tool or single point cutting tool. This cutting tool must be harder than the workpiece. The workpiece is rotated against the cutting tool. This is the depth of cut. This part is the depth of cut. Final, we get cylindrical surface. The workpiece is held in between chuck and the dead center. The dead center is not shown in the figure. This axis line is lathe axis or axis of rotation or workpiece axis. Next we take principle of working. The main function of the lathe is to remove the metal from the workpiece and give it to the required shape and size. Here the workpiece is held rigidly by the work coding device called chuck and rotated at a uniform speed. A V-shaped cutting tool or a single point cutting tool is held in the tool post. The workpiece is rotated in the opposite direction to the cutting tool. The tool is fed in the longitudinal direction. Longitudinal direction means parallel to the lathe axis. This action removes the metal in the form of chips. Either you get continuous chips or discontinuous chips. Chips means that is the material removed from the workpiece. The cutting tool used must be harder than the workpiece. When this cutting tool moves parallel to the lathe axis, then we get the cylindrical surfaces. When this cutting tool moves perpendicular to the lathe axis, then we get flat surfaces. When this cutting tool moves at an angle to the lathe axis, then we get taper surfaces. Next, we discuss the parts of the lathe. This part is the bed. These are the legs of the bed. The entire load of the lathe machine is carried by these legs. This is the tray. The trays are used to collect the chips. Chips means the material removed from the workpiece. To collect that chips, we use the tray. These are the feed box. To get the lathe machine to rotate at different speed. This is the Addstock. It is placed at the left side of the lathe machine. The number of pulleys and gears are mounted on the Addstock. This is the work coding device that is called chuck. Either we use 4-jaw chuck or 3-jaw chuck. This is the saddle. With the help of this anvil, the saddle moves longitudinal direction. Longitudinal means parallel to the lathe axis. This is the cross slide. With the help of this anvil, the cross slide moves perpendicular to the lathe axis. This is the compound rest. And this is tool post. More than one cutting tool you can place or you can hold. This part is the tailstock. It is placed at the right side of the lathe machine. It is the movable part of the machine. It moves over the guideways. This is the dead center. It holds the workpiece on the other side. Sometimes this dead center is removed by drill bit or boring tool to drill the holes. This is screw rod, or it is also called as lead screw. This lead screw is useful during the thread cutting operation. Feed rod. This is nothing but long horizontal shaft. This feed rod is useful during automatic feed. Next, we discuss major parts of a lathe and their function. First major part is bed. It is a rigid structure which forms a base or foundation to support all other parts such as headstock, tailstock and carriage. Headstock and tailstocks are located at the left side and right end of the bed. The carriage rests over the bed and slides on it. Accuracy of the machining depends on the accuracy of the bed. At the top of the bed, two sets of guideways are provided, outer guideways and inner guideways. In this figure, you can't see the outer guideways and inner guideways. Outer guides provides sliding surfaces for carriage, whereas inner guideways provides sliding surfaces for the tailstock. The material used for bed should have the following properties. First one, it should have high compressive strength. High compressive strength means even though much load is applied on the bed, it does not deform. Second property is it should be wear resistance material. Third one, should absorb vibration during machining operation. Hence, the bed metal is made up of alloy of cast iron. Second important part is headstock. It is mounted at the left end of the lathe bed. It contains gears or pulleys by means of which the workpiece can be rotated at different speeds. Next part is tailstock. It is mounted at the right end of the lathe bed. It is the movable part of the lathe that carries dead center in it. The main function of the tailstock is to support the free end of the long work pieces and provide a tool for performing operations like drilling, reaming, tapping, etc. Meaning, sometimes we remove the dead center and in the place of dead center we provide the cutting tools like drilling, reaming, tapping tools to drill the hole or to get the internal threads. Next part is carriage. The cutting tool is supported with the help of carriage and rides over the bedways longitudinally. Longitudinal means parallel to the lathe axis between the headstock and tailstock. In the carriage assembly, the parts are first one cross line. First one is the saddle. It can be made to slide along the bedways and supports the cross slide, compound rest and tool post. Second part is cross slide. It is mounted on the saddle. It allows the cutting tool move at an angle at right angle to the lathe axis, thereby providing the necessary depth of cut of the workpiece. With the help of this anvil, the carriage move longitudinal direction. With the help of this anvil, the cutting tool move at right angle to the lathe axis. Next part is compound rest. It is mounted on the cross slide and supports the tool post. It carries a circular swivel plate. The tool can be swiveled to any angle to obtain the taper surface. Means whenever taper surface is required, first we calculate the taper angle. After calculating the taper angle, the compound rest is rotated in a particular angle and fixed in that position. Then with the help of this anvil, we get the taper surfaces. Next part is the tool post. It is mounted on the compound rest and is used to hold the cutting tool. Sometimes we hold more than one cutting tool. Next part is the feed mechanism. Feed mechanism consists of feed rod and screw rod. A number of gear trains. The gear trains are used to transmit power at various gear ratios, from Addstock spindle to feed rod or lead screw. Next, lead screw or screw rod. It is a long shaft with square threads cut on it. The rotation of the lead screw facilitates the movement of the carriage during thread cutting operations. Next one is feed rod. It is a long shaft that gives automatic feed to the carriage for various operations, namely turning, facing, boring, etc., except thread cutting operation. These are the important parts of the lathe machine. The next part is lathe specification. First one, maximum length. This is the maximum length of the workpiece that can be mounted between live center and dead center. That is the maximum length. Second one, the maximum diameter of the workpiece. It is the known as swing of the lathe. Swing is specified at different position on the lathe. Maximum swing diameter over the carriage. It is the largest diameter of the workpiece which revolves over the saddle. Second one, maximum swing over the bed. It is the largest diameter of the workpiece which revolve over the bed without touching it. Next, overall length of the bed. It is the space occupied by the lathe machine. Last one is the maximum diameter of the Addstock. Here, diameter of the Addstock is there. It is the maximum diameter of the workpiece that can be passed through the Addstock spindle hole. These are the specification of the lathe.